Detective Division, and Lieutenant Tim Gabals, Commander of Patrol. Last night at about 9:45 p.m., we received a call of a domestic disturbance involving a shooter at 1190 Litchfield Road. The caller was the mother of the two victims. She reported to us her live-in boyfriend was armed and had just shot her daughter and son. Approximately 10 uniformed officers responded. They immediately entered the home to engage the shooter. As they cleared the home room by room, they discovered the shooter in the master bedroom, dead of a self-inflicted gunshot wound. The two victims, one was lying on the back deck, the female, with a gunshot wound to the chest. The boy was lying between the kitchen and living room, likewise with a gunshot wound to the chest. First aid was performed, emergency responders arrived. Both victims were transported to Waterbury Hospital, where they were pronounced dead. In speaking with the mother, we were told that there was a minor domestic incident between the daughter and her live-in boyfriend over some smoking issues. Apparently, the boyfriend smoked cigarettes, tobacco, in the home, and the daughter was upset by it. This escalated, and according to the mother, the boyfriend went back to his bedroom, returned with a Glock handgun, and at that point, the male, the son, attempted to intercede. He shot the son in the leg. The mother went downstairs to call 911 when she heard a second gunshot. Presumably when he shot the daughter on the deck, he came back into the house and shot the son in the chest. And that's the sequence of events that we've determined so far. The investigation is ongoing. Obviously, the perpetrator is dead, and we're still processing the crime scene. So if you have any questions of myself or my staff, we'll entertain them at this point.
Chief, were you ever called to that home before?
Pardon?
Chief, were you ever called to that home before?
Yes.
Can you specify as to what the nature of those calls were?
Deputy, why don't you fill him in on an incident 3 years ago, another unfortunate incident that occurred 3 years ago at that home.
The Watertown Police Department was called to 1190 Litchfield Road on October 22nd, 2016 for a report of a self-inflicted gunshot wound to the head of another male. At that time, it was the husband of the 911 caller in question on the case here today. So there's a tragic history at that household. Any other questions on that particular incident?
And that was her husband?
That was her husband, yes.
As with Ferguson, Paul Ferguson, any priors with him?
Not in this community, no.
And can you talk about Ferguson's history and how he shouldn't have had a gun?
You have that.
Sure. Ferguson is a convicted felon. He was charged with sexual assault in a spousal relationship, and that was he was ultimately convicted of unlawful restraint, which is a felony. So he was a convicted felon, and he was not eligible to have a weapon.
Did you find any other weapons in the home?
Yes, we did. Yes. The majority of weapons were secured in a safe. However, the weapon that he used was in a safe in the master bedroom that he had access to.
Whose gun was it?
We don't know at this time. We're still investigating
And
that.
the majority of the other weapons, was that his girlfriend's weapon?
We don't know. We're still investigating that.
So you don't know if they were legally purchased or not?
We don't know that.
Sorry, did you say sexual assault or what type of assault?
It was a sexual assault in a spousal relationship. Pleaded down to unlawful restraint in the first degree, which is a felony.
He was living in the home apparently with the girlfriend, but his last known address was?
I'm not sure. They were in a dating relationship for about 2 years. He moved into the home just 2 weeks ago, and there was some animosity between him and her daughter.
And where was he living before?
I don't know. I don't have his previous address.
Can you release the mother's name?
Yes, do we have the mother's name? Her last name is Jetty. Oh, Danielle Jetty. That is the mother of the victim and the person who owns the house at 1190 Litchfield Road.
Can you tell us about her state at this time? What, she's cooperating with police, but what is she saying about the incident?
She's cooperating with us. She's extremely distraught, as you could expect, after the incident last night.
Can you pronounce everybody's name?
Sure. We have Della Jetty, 15 years old, the female victim, and the daughter of Danielle, and Sterling Jetty Jr., 16 years old, the second victim, and daughter of Danielle, and then Paul W. Ferguson, 42, the shooter and deceased.
Where was this prior conviction from? Like what town, the state, elsewhere?
Was that Naugatuck?
Naugatuck and Waterbury.
Naugatuck and Waterbury.
That was a previous relationship he had in Naugatuck, Waterbury
Yes.
area.
Yes.
So we're getting some information that possibly the mom and so possibly Danielle and Ferguson were manufacturing ghost guns. Do you have any information on this?
We're still investigating. I would have no comment regarding that.
So 3 years ago when the dad shot himself, was the family home at the time?
The wife was the children home? Do you? I'm not sure if
I
the.
do believe so, yes.
Yeah, I believe so. I know she was home. I believe they were.
Yeah.
They had a minor dust-up, a minor domestic dust-up, and as a result, he shot himself.
And that suicide 3 years ago, was that with a legal registered gun?
Yes. I think that was a .380 he used.
Can you tell us how many weapons were found in the house at this time and what kind they were?
No, I can't. I can't comment on that.
What was the gun used in this incident from last night?
No.
No, what was the gun used in this
A
incident?
Glock. A Glock.
Glock 9mm, Chief?
Either a 9 or a 40. I'm not sure which.
Does the mother have any prior incidents in Watertown or other towns, any convictions?
No. No.
Record?
No.
And it's just these two kids? Does the mom have any more kids? It's
No.
just two.
No. These are her two children.
What high school did they go to? Were
They went to Cantor Tech. Previously Swift Junior High in Watertown and Watertown High.
They ever been in any trouble with you?
No,
Was Ferguson employed, you know, Chief?
I don't.
Can you briefly, Chief, if you would, indulge me and go over the facts of the case again, how this occurred, 9:45 p.m.?
Sure.
There was an argument about smoking in the house.
Yeah, what happened with the son was home all evening. The daughter had gone on a field trip to New York with her school and returned, I think, around 8:30 or 9 o'clock. She had a discussion with her mother about the smoking habits of Paul Ferguson, the deceased. And her and the mother, it became a little bit loud. Ferguson was downstairs with the son watching TV. He came up and told the daughter to quiet down and not talk to her mother that way. They had a bit of a dust-up back and forth. He turned and went to the master bedroom, returned with the Glock. At that point, the son confronted him. He shot the son in the leg. The mother ran downstairs looking for a phone to call for assistance. She heard a gunshot, which was the result of her daughter being shot in the chest out on the deck. A second shot when he came in and shot the son in the chest, then went to his room and apparently shot himself.
You said that she was found outside. Is there any indication that she was running? Trying to run
Well,
away?
she went out the sliding glass door between the kitchen and the deck, and she went out onto the deck. She didn't seem to go any farther than the deck, and he followed her out there and shot her.
Do you think that she was running from the scene when she was shot?
It doesn't appear that way from where we found the body on the deck. It doesn't appear that way.
Were the victims communicating with officers when they arrived?
The boy communicated very briefly with the mother because when she went upstairs, she asked if he was okay, and he made some sort of a response. Then the mother went out to the deck and began CPR on the daughter, who was not responding. And when our officers cleared the house and EMTs arrived, we began first aid on the victims. But unfortunately, their wounds were so serious that it was futile.
So the boy was shot twice, the girl was shot once.
Yes.
What's it like for a police department to deal with, a call for service just 3 years ago, another like shooting at that home?
Well, obviously, when you get a call like we received last night of an armed person in a home that shot somebody, we must assume that person is going to engage the police. So our officers are trained to immediately, and they did, all officers set up a perimeter around the home, entered the home with the full knowledge of engaging an armed suspect. And as they cleared each room, they ultimately discovered he took his own life. It's very traumatizing on the part of the officers. You don't see this every day, especially when your victims are 15 and 16-year-old children. It's extremely challenging. We're going to be meeting with our first responders, our dispatchers, and our officers tomorrow night to do an after-action to talk about what took place and see what assistance we can offer them through our EAP program.
How many officers/troopers do you think have been involved in this case overnight?
Well,
hours?
sure. We had 10 uniformed officers made the initial response, 5 detectives, the deputy, 2 division commanders. You had about 15, 16 officers there last night, plus State Police Major Crime is still on the scene. So you probably have close to 20 officers engaged in this event, plus our dispatchers who took the initial call.
So what happens now?
Well, the shooter's dead. We're processing the crime scene, photographing it, videotaping it. We've taken a very lengthy, done a very lengthy interview with the mother. And obviously the suspect is dead, so once the scene is processed and we've buttoned up all the loose ends, the case will be closed.
Based on everything you've seen in the house, does what the mother is saying seem to match up?
So far it does, but the investigation obviously is still ongoing. But it appears to be very accurate.
Did the mother talk about any indication that, she was scared of him before this, that there
No.
was such a burst of violence?
No, they were simply having a verbal dust-up. And he walked out of the room, went to the bed, and came back with a gun. She was shocked, absolutely shocked. These domestic incidents can turn violent so quickly. It's just extremely unfortunate that we're dealing with 2 young victims. And this mother is completely distraught, as you can imagine. The boyfriend moves in the house 2 weeks ago for the holiday season. He's gone, and both her children are gone.
And police contacted the school for those
Yes, we spoke to the school superintendent last night. We've contacted, because when the father of the victims, her first husband, took his life, both these were students at Swift Middle School. So many of the teachers there worked very closely with them, and they knew them. So it's traumatic for them as well. It's traumatic for the whole community. I mean, everybody living in Watertown. They had many friends, I'm sure, many classmates, and this is very hard to handle.
Chief, any early indications that the suspect was under the influence of drugs or alcohol or anything?
None whatsoever.
You said he was where, in the basement when he heard the mom and the
He was in the basement with the son, the 16-year-old boy, watching TV, when he heard the verbal dust-up between mom and the daughter.
And this had been brewing, Chief, for a little while. The daughter had complained about his smoking.
Yes, yeah, they did not get along. And it was tobacco smoke, from everything I understood. It wasn't drugs. Apparently he smoked in the house, and that irritated the daughter, and there was some kind of a dust-up between them.
Anything else you'd like to add?
No, Deb, can you think of anything, or? No.
State police still assisting the investigation?
They are. They're wrapping up now, though. They're wrapping up.
Thank you, Chief.
Okay, thank you for coming.